How do we get RAM usage? So the first command you probably want is free. And then what we want is used divided by total. Of course, we want the numbers here. So we can isolate the second line with grep. And then since we're dealing with columns here, we can actually use awk. So if you know some awk, print $0 will print the whole line, $1, column 1, $2, column 2. So we can do used divided by total. So column 3 divided by column 2. There's a problem in this approach, which is that if you want this in a loop, for example, on the top right corner, I have 10%, which is my RAM. The way I get that information or display that is I use an interval. So every 30 seconds, I will try to get the RAM usage. And if we're using a shell script, well, every 30 seconds, that's probably not that inefficient, but when we're doing like CPU temperature, GPU temperature, the way I do it is I loop that every 2 seconds. If we run free and then grep and awk, excuse me for using the mouse here, we're opening or creating 3 processes every 2 seconds and then exiting those processes and then doing that over and over. Even if awk, grep, free, these are not slow programs, probably. There's some cost in initializing the process. So for that reason, you'd probably want to use C or whatever language you're using. So in my case, let's see here, RAM usage %. So in C is actually simpler because I'm using sysinfo here. This is specific to Linux. I'm not sure if you're supposed to do this. However, so for sysinfo, you can just do sysinfo, and then that will initialize the structure. And then inside this structure, you can see a lot of information here. But what you can also do is procmeminfo. This file, which is not really a file, but this is probably what the program free is parsing internally. This is specific to procfs though, so it will only apply to Linux or other OSs that use procfs.